team is assembled on the island of Eleuthera, Bahamas, to do some diving, exploration, and to photograph and to video their explorations. Chris preps his camera, and we all settle in for a good evening, a little rest before the dive starts tomorrow. And then we receive some disheartening news.
We can't dive until Friday because of the weather.
So not much to do except sit back and enjoy a little breakfast. The next day, under clearer weather, the team decides to explore the fuel depot that was used by the British Air Force when the Bahamas was a British colony. This area has some of the most pristine waters in the Caribbean and should offer some great photo opportunities. The only problem is, the dive site is a 20-minute walk away. Carrying 60 pounds of dive gear in the hot sun is no fun for anyone. But soon the team is in the water and looking for photo opportunities. Life is abundant in this area, and it shouldn't be hard to find some interesting subjects. Soon, Chris comes upon this curious creature. What looks to be a jellyfish is actually a swimming anemone. For a slow-moving creature, he's pretty elusive and seems to be rather camera shy. But with patience and determination, Chris gets his picture. The Caribbean stingray is rather common, but skittish. Oh well, better luck next time. Feather dusters look like plants, but are actually worms. They extend their orange tendrils to catch passing plankton and algae for food. Then the team discovers a lionfish. Native of Indonesia, it is an invasive species in the Caribbean and the Atlantic. One theory suggests that they were discharged from bilge water from passing freighters. Another theory suggests that they were discarded by a disgruntled aquarium owner. However they got here, this is true, that they are voracious eaters and they have no known predator. So their growth goes unchecked. So as pretty as they are basically just large aquatic vermin. hunt for more aquatic photo opportunities, Chris spots his old friend, the ray. He won't let his subject get away this time. After a successful dive, no one is looking forward to that long walk back to the car. The next day, with the weather clearing, the team takes to the boat in search of an offshore reef and more photo opportunities. We soon discover a massive coral head, the size of a city block. Coral head of this magnitude takes hundreds, if not thousands of years to reach this size. Coral polyps are almost microscopic, and when they start to grow, they cluster together into small colonies. Soon they cluster together and they start to resemble small trees. After hundreds of years, the tree structures themselves will start to get quite large and eventually grow together at the top. When these coral heads grow together at the top, they leave vacant areas underneath to allow water and animals to circulate through. Eventually, this oasis in the sea turns into a safe haven for countless animals. Some of these passageways will eventually be closed off, but some remain open and allow access to the center of the coral head. This is one of these passages that we're looking for. Chris finds one of these entrances, and we go in. Under a solid stone roof, in 45 feet of seawater, 2 miles from shore, is not a place for the faint of heart. Searching this underwater labyrinth for photo opportunities, you can get turned around very quickly. The way the sunlight plays through small holes in the ceiling is just beautiful. Chris has been searching for that perfect spot to capture the sunlight, and he found it. Chris captures numerous images with his camera and assembles them in Photoshop later to produce a 1 in a million picture. Monitoring air supply and time at this depth, Bob is beginning to get concerned. Chris captures a few more images, and then it'll be time to go. But which way is the way out? Everything is starting to look the same. With no chance of backtracking, we have to find a new way out, and Chris sees it. Chris squeezes through the narrow opening and now has a direct access to the surface. Bob heads for the same opening, but he's a much larger man than Chris is. This is going to be a tight fit, if he can fit at all. Scraping his tank against the roof of the coral, he finally gets through. The anchor chain is like a welcome mat to the stern of the boat. And the team heads home from another successful day. The next day, the team leaves Harbor Island to dive 2 sites, one called the Devil's Backbone, and the other one, the Boulders by Glass Bridge. The team is quickly in the water, and we discover some of the clearest water that we've ever seen. Chris quickly finds 2 of our old friends, a pair of lionfish, just lounging around. The Devil's Backbone is comprised of a series of about a dozen ridges that run perpendicular to the island. These ridges are about 1/4 of a mile long, and at some point produce valleys that are about 60 to 70 feet deep. Some of these ridges come within just a few feet of the surface, causing quite the navigational hazard and earning its name, the Devil's Backbone. White Caribbean sand collects between these ridges and forms large passages that almost look like ancient roads. This dive ends quietly, and then it's on to the next site.
What are we doing today?
Going boating, man.
Every time we go, he says that.
It's a fashion show with the stuff that he's got on, you know.
Dropped in the water 1/2 mile from the glass bridge, the bottom here is completely different from other spots we've dove. Smooth and devoid of life, it's strangely alien. These large boulders have broken away from the mainland during storms and have been tossed around by numerous hurricanes over the years. The boulders grow larger the closer that we get to the island itself. Chris must be running out of good subjects. He's always ready to try a new angle. The rest of the team gathers around as Chris discovers another hole to explore. Sliding in further and further until he's completely gone. And Bob follows him into total darkness. And this is where we find a new friend. 55 feet down, under a massive boulder, a green moray eel, just waiting to greet us. Moray eels can be dangerous and unpredictable, so Bob keeps his distance while he captures some video footage. Slowly, Bob creeps up on the eel as not to disturb him. Chris has missed the eel altogether and is already making his way out of the cave, so Bob tries to signal him with his dive light. Chris has to see this and get some pictures himself. Chris moves in and tries for a good shot. The eel seems to be getting agitated, so we decide to leave. But not before getting one final shot. We work our way outside to bright sunshine and open water. And once again we follow our bubbles slowly to the surface.